Hey guys, I just went ahead and fully completed Star Wars Outlaws. It took me about 26 hours to complete, and there were still a lot of the side missions I hadn't done, and I still hadn't even unlocked 3 of the specialists, which will grant you a variety of abilities once you unlock them. And when I say I just beat this game, I beat it like 2 weeks ago, but my account got hacked, so I haven't been able to post this video. So I got to catch up on some reviews, and if I had to play through this, god damn it, I'm gonna make a review on it. Uh, but you know, everybody's kind of jumping on this game. They've been clowning on it, you know, since the first trailer, saying it looks terrible and stuff like that. It's the worst game of the year, I've seen some people say, which is just silly. In a year where Concord came out, the entire fucking game closed in like 2 weeks, or maybe even 1 week, dude. Like, nothing's gonna top Concord in terms of failures this year. But I don't think the game is as bad as everybody is saying. So let me give you my pros, my cons, and then my final verdict on the game. My first pro is that visually the game is quite remarkable in terms of the actual environmental design, the attention to detail in the environmental design, staying true to Star Wars feel, and just like when you're out and about, all of the foliage moving in the wind, all the branches of the tree moving and everything. The actual like attention to detail in the narrative is quite good. It's one of the better looking open world games I've seen. Now, not so much on the actual faces of the characters. Those can be a little bit jank for sure. But, you know, in the environmental design, it's quite good. And I do think it does a great job of capturing the Star Wars feel, especially when you're like going through the cantinas and stuff like that. They have the music playing, everybody's talking. You can pick, you know, lean up against the bar stools and stuff, and listen up and hear a couple conversations, and maybe get a couple side missions that way for taking other people's, you know, heists and stuff like that. I think it does a great job of actually capturing the Star Wars feel, especially from a perspective that we don't often see, which is another one of my pros for the game, is that it's really nice and fresh to play from the perspective of like the 99% people in the fucking galaxy, you know? Like, so much of Star Wars, especially like games, movies, so much of Star Wars is Jedis, it's Sith, right? It's stormtroopers, clone troopers. It's all like adjacent with all of that. So it's nice to just actually see the Star Wars universe from sort of a Han Solo-esque, you know, POV. Obviously, K-Vess is no Han Solo. Let's not get that twisted. But it's nice to, you know, see the world from kind of the criminal underground level. And I really did enjoy seeing the various criminal syndicates. You know, you complete a mission and then oftentimes it's like, hey, do you want to screw over this guy or you want to screw over this guy? And you can kind of mix and match, or you can go full on into one of the criminal syndicates and gain various benefits that way. And then maybe they'll actually, you know, that might have an impact on the overall main story of the game, which does bring me to another pro. I really like the main story of this game. It is, I'll come out and say, it is like tailor-made for me though, because I love heist shit, and this is all about, you know, conducting a big heist. And I love, you know, Mass Effect 2 style, putting together a team of these just weirdos, right? A bunch of just dysfunctional misfits. And that's what the main story of this game is about. The main story of this game is making it big, doing a big heist. And in order to do that, you have to put together a team. And so for me, you know, those are two things I do really, really like in terms of stories. They're not, you know, the most revolutionary or crazy stories out there, but it's a simple story, and I like that. I am a fan. I also think that the gameplay in all facets is entirely serviceable. You know, I don't think it's entirely a pro, but it's definitely not a con. I think the shooting is entirely serviceable. You can, you know, customize your blaster and get various different shooting modes. There's quite a few weapons that you can pick up off the ground that are sort of like power weapons, which you're seeing in the gameplay right now is a good example. And you can unlock more of those as you unlock, you know, more of the specialists that are, you know, weapons experts, and you can get some pretty neat ones. The sneaking is a little bit better than serviceable, I would say, other than the terrible AI, which I'll touch on in the cons. But the sneaking, they do give you quite a few tools at your disposal. You know, everything from like you can see here, sending nicks to drop objects. You can drop objects on people, or you can drop objects to distract them. You can have nicks tamper with explosives, maybe rig an alarm to electrify somebody that goes to, you know, use it. You can have him run around and steal stuff for you. I think there is a good amount of variety in terms of the stealth in the game, and I also think that the ship combat is entirely serviceable. You know, it's pretty bare bones, but it you fly, you shoot dudes, it feels pretty good. You can upgrade your ship with a variety of weapons and a variety of missiles, and you know, make it faster, make it more durable. It's not on the level of like a Starfield in terms of the crazy ship customization, and it's not on the level of, you know, Elite Dangerous or Starfield or Star Citizen in terms of like min-maxing your power allocation and stuff like that when you're in the ship combat. It's definitely on the more basic side, but it's entirely, you know, serviceable. I like the space exploration. There's stuff that you can find, you know, in the orbit of the various planets. You can, and you know, as you're in the open world, or if you're in space, there's all sorts of events that can pop up. Maybe some pirates are fighting with the Empire, and you can, you know, kind of rob both or wait for them to fight it out and take out the, you know, the remnants or whatever. And then there'll be people getting attacked in space, and you can save them or not save them. And, you know, all of the things that you do are having some sort of an impact on how the various criminal syndicates see you. And that's kind of one of the core loops of the game, is trying your best to not screw over the same person too much. Because if you do, they're going to make your life a living hell. They're going to send kill squads after you and stuff like that. Same with the Empire. They'll send some death troopers, and that's not really a good time. So, yeah, all aspects of gameplay, I think they're serviceable. I think the stealth is a little bit better than serviceable. And visually, it's quite good. The sound is, I mean, the music is great. Star Wars music is always great. You know, I feel like I don't think I've ever played a Star Wars game or watched a Star Wars show or anything that's had bad music. They're always, you know, firing on all cylinders on that front. The voice acting is pretty good, though. I don't think it's that it's like revolutionary, but it's not bad at all. The main voice actress for Kay Vess does a pretty decent job. And I also think the little puzzles that you do, this one, which is kind of a rhythm-based puzzle, and then the more normal slicing puzzle, I think those are entirely serviceable as well. Let's get into the cons, though, because while I don't think this game is as bad as everybody says it is, I do think there are some very glaring issues. I touched on one a little bit earlier, which is the AI. It is butt fuck dumb. It is, you know, excuse my language, but it is ridiculously dumb. This is like Metal Gear Solid was having better AI than this game back in the day, dude. Back on, you know, PS1, and this is really bad AI. And I don't know if it's just because I played on normal difficulty, because they do say, you know, that your difficulty corresponds to how smart the enemies are. So maybe I'll give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, but I don't think AI should be this dumb on normal, because these guys will just be sniffing glue, staring at a wall, drooling all over their boots, and you can just run by them. They don't care. You can shoot their friend right in the head next to them, just pew, you know, half their head is just disintegrated, and this guy's just blah, 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 must have been the wind. It's pretty bad, dude. A lot of the times they'll just stand there, much like this gameplay is doing. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here, but they'll just kind of stand there doing nothing while you just gun them down or just run by them. Yeah, they are pretty dumb. I also think probably the biggest con here and the biggest demerit for points for me, and a lot of people have touched on this game is incredibly fucking buggy. Like ridiculously buggy, unacceptably buggy. And I'm not talking, you know, funny Bethesda bugs, haha, or like Witcher bugs, like, oh, my horse is on the roof. No, I'm talking like progress impeding bugs, like falling through the floor endlessly type of bug, and you better hope to God that your last save is, you know, within the last 30 minutes. Just really, really bad bugs. I had one bug that was so bad, it would have prevented me from beating the game, because you were supposed to, you know, very simple puzzle. You're supposed to pull a switch, a crate will come to you, you climb on the crate, you have Nyx pull the switch again to send it back, you go back, right? Well, there was a little bit of a problem. I would pull the switch, the crate would come to me, I would pull the switch again, it wouldn't move. Well, that's a little weird. Then I would pull the switch again, and the crate would disappear, teleport back to the origin point, and then come back to me. So, like, the game was reading that when I was pulling the switch, it was going back, but it wasn't actually moving. And I reset my entire game, quit to desktop and everything. Nothing fixed this. And this prevented me from completing a main story mission. So this is a very, very bad fucking bug, right? And the only way that I could get around it was I had to pull the switch, have the crate come to me, pull the switch again, so have the game read that it was there, and then quickly I had to have Nyx pull the switch, and I had to jump on it so that when it teleported back to the origin point, I could jump off instantly before it moved back and get to where I needed to go. But if I didn't do that, then I would have been entirely screwed. So, you know, and then not to mention, like, once you get to Tatooine, I don't know if they just didn't have a single human being play the fucking game during Tatooine, but Tatooine gets so incredibly buggy. Every single city in Tatooine, as you're walking through, it is an epileptic kid's worst nightmare, bro. They're gonna be convulsing on the fucking dance floor because the entire city is just flashing. It's just like strobe lights, man. And it was making me sick. And I'm not epileptic or anything. And it was making me sick having to look at this, because it's just all the buildings fucking joo, in and out just as you're walking through. Just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I tried messing with various graphics options, and that didn't fix it either. So, like, and I've seen basically everybody have the same problem. And, you know, I just tested it a couple days ago to see if maybe they fix it, because, you know, game's been out like 2 weeks now. Nope. Still unfixed. So just absolutely unexcusable in my mind. Not to mention, a lot of the, like, I guess you could call it parkour platforming sections are also just incredibly buggy. You would try and jump up some rocks and you're just sliding down them constantly, or you would jump to a ledge that is very clearly marked that you can grab it, and Kay will just do nothing as she just splats against it like a fucking fly on your windshield going 70 miles per hour down the highway, right? It is bad, dude. In my opinion, this is entirely unacceptable for a game to release in this state. I mean, this is like Cyberpunk levels of bad on release. Just, and maybe not as bad as Cyberpunk, actually, because I could actually beat this game and I couldn't beat Cyberpunk. So maybe not as bad as Cyberpunk, but it's really bad, dude. Definitely unacceptable. So for me, and also one final negative is that sometimes the writing is just whack. It just doesn't make sense. A good scenario, like a good place that I could use with no spoilers to explain it, is there's a situation where you're defending a point and, you know, there's waves of enemies coming. You easily, you know, you have a defensible position and you gun down maybe 25 enemies, just absolutely slaughter them. Then for some reason, the big bad walks out, and what does K-Vest do? Does she stay in cover where she was, where you just gun down 25 dudes is a very easily defensible position? No. For some reason, she just walks out in the middle of the open to talk to the guy, and she doesn't have anything to say to him. There's no reason to engage in a conversation at all with this guy. In fact, it would be a very bad idea. And sure as shit, you know, two dudes come out with guns, and it's like, oh man, they got us. Like, what? Why? What are you talking about, dude? Like, we just gunned down 25 guys. Shoot this fucker in the head, and let's, you know, do what we were here to do. So yeah, just, it really doesn't make too much sense. One of the main characters is supposed to be this godly, like, bounty hunter, is just laughable. She sucks ass at her job. She fails like over and over the entire game. Everybody makes fun of her for being incompetent. She's supposed to be, you know, the best bounty hunter in the Outer Rim, and she's just dog shit. Her character is terrible. So yeah, sometimes the writing really doesn't make sense, but you know, the game does have its pros. You know, to go into the conclusion, the game does have its pros. I did like the main story. For the most part, you know, it does have some of that weird writing shit, but for the most part, I did like the main story. I really did enjoy seeing, you know, all of the attention to detail in the various worlds, and just kind of viewing the Star Wars universe from a normal person's perspective. Because you have to remember, you know, especially at this time, it's like 98, 99% of the denizens of Star Wars, they don't believe in the Force. They don't know anything about that. They're just trying to get by, man. So it's kind of cool to see the game from that perspective when we're just so inundated with Jedi, Sith, Clone Trooper, Stormtrooper. And I do think that they do a good job in terms of a few of the characters. I love ND5. I fucking love that Robo boy. I love him. He's very, very cool. Just an awesome clone trooper, time period, badass droid. He's super cool. And I love Nix. Nix reminds me a lot of my dog, Momo. You know, he's just a dumb little cutie. And he does a bunch of dumb little cutie stuff. You'll be exploring and he's like, you know, he wants to go check out something. And you get to do some parkour with him and have some cute dialogue. And he takes you to a little treasure. And you can put little flower crowns on him and stuff. He's adorable. I thought they did a great job with him. Way cuter and way more lovable than something like BB-8, right? So overall, my thoughts on the game. Because of the glitches and stuff like that, I'm incapable of giving this game anything higher than a 5 out of 10. You know, for me, 5 is average. You know, you may say, oh, well, because of all the glitches and stuff, shouldn't it be below a 5? I pondered it, but overall, I did enjoy my experience enough. I completed the game. I put 25 hours in the game. There's still a lot more content that I could do with the game. And I liked the main story. I liked several of the characters. You know, the soundtrack is great. So I feel like putting it at a 5 is fair. But it should also be mentioned that while this is a $70 game, you can do what I did, which is get a month of Ubisoft Connect for $18, and then you can play the entire game for only 18 bucks, you know, and I believe it comes with all of the DLC as well. So, you know, that should be noted, is that there is a cheaper way to play. It's very similar to like when a game is on Game Pass, right? It's like, oh yeah, you could pay $50 for Hellblade 2, or you could pay $12 to play it on Game Pass, you know? So I'm kind of evaluating this on the basis of the $18 price point. I think if they do go ahead and they fix all of the bugs, all of the glitches with the game, I think it could probably approach like a 6.5 if they really do fix all of the bugs and stuff. It'll still have the writing issues, you know, it'll still, the gameplay itself will still largely just be serviceable. So I don't think it can approach, you know, a 7 and above, which would be good. But overall, I have to say, the game was better than I thought. The game is okay. It's average and, you know, a little bit above average, even like decent if they managed to fix all of the bugs. Or maybe if you just managed to be luckier and not get the bugs. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure how universal all of these bugs are. But yeah, for me, I enjoyed the game enough. And I'm hoping that they fix the bugs, because I do think it's a good enough time. But let me know what you guys think. Have you played it? Do you think it's, you know, oh, epic SJW fail, trash, ugly woman? You know, like a lot of the headlines and the gamers love to say over here on YouTube. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. I'll have Casting of Frank Stone review coming up. I have Space Marines 2 review coming up. I'm working on Enotria, I think that's what it's called. So that review will be coming up. Quite a lot of games to review that I've been playing over the past couple weeks where I've been banned. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one. Take care, and I'll see all of you in the next video, or stream Rooney. Bye-bye.